In the final quarter of 2013, 3 parks accounted for 60% of all crime: Central Park, Riverside Park, and Flushing Meadows Corona Park in Queens. Despite the new safety improvements and the scholarships that will now be in play, some are still worried about what this means for cheerleading as we know it. Residents say some of the main causes of noise are traffic and construction like what you see behind me. Experts say this could have serious effects on your health. It is still an active scene behind me as firefighters are putting out the last of a 2-alarm fire. This empty space is where a beautiful lit Christmas tree would be if a Grinch hadn't stolen it. Texans veteran wide receiver Andre Johnson sat out of the first team workout with new coach Bill O'Brien. Johnson is questioning his place with the team and is frustrated with the direction the franchise is headed following a 2-14 season. Casey Kasem was located in Washington State on Thursday, days after a Los Angeles judge expressed concerns about the ailing radio icon's safety and whereabouts. His condition was not immediately known, and his children said locating their father was the first step in bringing him back to Los Angeles. In Washington Heights, the morning quiet was interrupted by the sound of a minivan crashing into a city bus, which in turn smashed into a building. It happened just before 8 o'clock. An M4 bus was struck by a minivan, causing it to jump the curb and crash into a storefront near 155th Street in Broadway. No passengers were on board the bus. According to FDNY, the bus driver, 2 pedestrians, and 2 of the passengers in the van were slightly injured. People who lived in the apartments above the crash are still in disbelief.
It felt like an earthquake, like an actual earthquake. You could feel the building sway back and forth when it was hit with the impact. I mean, I literally woke up out of my sleep.
I was in awe. My jaw just dropped, and I was looking at the man that was on the floor bleeding and the bus inside. It's just crazy.
A few hours later, crews removed the bus from the storefront as the Department of Buildings moved in to check its safety. The injured were taken to Harlem and St. Luke's hospitals, and no charges have yet been filed. This week, cheerleading has something to cheer about. The State Board of Regents declared competitive cheerleading an official sport. Caitlin Walkenfuss, coach of Brooklyn Tech High School cheerleading, says this has been a long time coming.
A lot of times other teams fight for us to be at their events, to cheer for them. Now we get to have our events, as a sport.
As a sport, cheerleading will have to observe rules that will set a defined season, time between competitions, and require coaching certification. Brooklyn Tech senior Crystal Lawson says she is glad cheerleaders are finally being regarded as athletes.
Cheer has often been only seen as sidelines at games, so we also compete, and we have our full year season. We practice at least 3 times a week, and it shows all our dedication is paid off.
Despite the new safety improvements and the scholarships that will now be in play, some are still worried about what this means for cheerleading as we know it.
I think it's going to go through some growing pains. One of the concerns is that will we have enough time to be ready to compete for the first season?
The State High School Athletic Association will work out the details of implementing the new status later this month.
It's come time that we recognize these kids for what they are, and they are athletes. And it's come time that we highlight and promote them in the same exact manner that we do other student athletes in other sports.
Senior Mary Valasuk hopes their passion for the sport will shine through in the bigger setting.
I'm excited not only for us, but for everyone else, to kind of go out there and do what they love doing on a bigger level.
The competition begins next winter. Priscilla Riojas, Columbia News Tonight. It was a sunny day last fall. James Fayette and his 18-month-old son Luke were taking a stroll through Riverside Park. Then they were attacked by a knife-wielding man.
Regrettably, he caught up with me, grabbed me by the shoulders, and stabbed me in the chest 2 times and slashed my son's arm. It was really very surreal. As it was happening, I really couldn't believe that it was happening. It felt like I was almost kind of watching a movie from the outside.
Last year, major crimes in the city's largest parks jumped 18%, increasing to 417. The number of rapes in the parks more than doubled to 15, and grand larceny rose to 232.
I just use common sense. I don't go at night. I don't go deserted areas. I stay on the main paths.
In the final quarter of 2013, 3 parks accounted for 60% of all crime: Central Park, Riverside Park, and Flushing Meadows Corona Park in Queens. While it's not clear why crime in parks spiked last year, Susan Ryan, whose husband was a crime victim, has a theory: not enough cops.
Part of the reason that crime has gone up is because, there's no park enforcement patrol.
Philip Abramson from New York City Parks says that problem is being addressed. We frequently communicate with NYPD about incidents in parks and crime prevention strategies. As a result of an increased parks operating budget, we have doubled our parks enforcement patrol. Nina Coveney from the Bryant Park Corporation says a better designed and maintained park can help deter crime naturally.
Having more eyes on the street and more people in the park essentially eliminates the perception that it's an unsafe place and eliminates the opportunity for crime.
Mayor de Blasio calls for more money to be spent for park maintenance and security. For many New Yorkers, the parks are part of their lives. Victim James Fayette explains.
Before the event, we took our kids to the parks all the time, and it took a couple weeks for me to recover and feel comfortable doing so. But about 2 weeks after the incident, I was back in Central Park.
Help is on the way as the mayor and city council go through proposals that can improve maintenance and strengthen security. Priscilla Riojas, Columbia News Tonight.